purpose.
Are there specific things that you want us to do to help us get through this? Some people have said, even if you haven't had a meditation practice in the past, you need to do that, or you
Yeah.
need to be working out to get your muscles and your blood going, and these sort of things. Are there specific things you want to advise folks to do to help them get through this period of extreme pain and anxiety?
Well, the first thing you have to do is identify what the fear is. What is the fear? I mean, what are you afraid of? you know, and everybody seems to be focusing on the fact that the corona they're afraid of what the corona has done. Most of the things that we're afraid of, we brought in with us. We brought it into the epidemic. Most people are afraid of death. Most people are afraid of change. Most people are afraid of the unknown. Most people are afraid of losing control. So all of that has happened all at one time, and we're blaming it on the corona. No, it was already there. So one of the things we have to do is identify what the fear is. If you've lost your job, what are you afraid of? Not getting another one? What'll happen if you don't have an income? But I don't want to say wasting your time, but spending energy. I'm more concerned about energy. Spending energy, lamenting that is not going to change. So let's identify what the fear is and identify how we can move through it. One of the easiest the things that we can do to move through fear is learn how to breathe. Most of us, as soon as we get afraid, we stop breathing. So many people are walking around holding their breath. And we've got to learn how to breathe. Why? Because that oxygen the body, it clears the mind, and it supports the immune system. So we do some breath work in Fear Not, so that people just remember to breathe.
It really helps you turn an emotional chapter almost. I know that when I have moments of great anxiety, or when certain feelings that I don't want to live in well up, and I can take a pause and just focus on 5 deep breaths, one after another, try to clear the mind and just thinking about breathing. And it
Yes.
really does have an emotional reset sort of thing that happens of okay, I'm not in that place anymore, and I can move to another emotional state.
Right. It does reset the emotional energy, and it does clear the mind because it oxygenates the brain. If you can just get into that. The other thing is, from a spiritual perspective, the thing that keeps us connected to life is breath. Because I don't care whether it's the corona or a heart attack or a gunshot or overdose. Death is the same thing for everybody. They exhale and they don't inhale. So breath is what keeps us connected to life. So when you have a problem in life, you don't want to stop breathing. You don't want to die, so to speak, in that moment. You want to get into the breath, and you want to be present with the breath. And you're connected to your source, your creator, God, whatever you want to call it, in that moment. So that is so important. I think the other thing is, the thing that I really marvel at about this epidemic is it's reminded us how fragile we are, which imbues a sense of vulnerability. And these are 2 things that people are afraid of, particularly men. They don't want to be vulnerable. Well, you are. What you going to do now? Because you can't thug your way out of the corona.
No, you can't.
You cannot thug your way out.
No.
So I think that frightens people also. Looking at their fragility, looking at their mortality, looking at their vulnerability. Yeah? But what a divine opportunity. What a divine opportunity there is for us to get really clear about who we be and how we be living. Because how we be living is a little strange right now.
Especially for men who are supposed to be strong.
Yeah.
The embracing or the admitting of vulnerability is very frightening.
Yeah.
And I had a small personal breakthrough when I watched Brene Brown's piece on Netflix, and she talked about embracing vulnerability is strength.
Yes.
And I always thought, like, if I go to the place of admitting that I am vulnerable, then I am admitting weakness. And she's like, no, 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 no. Like, that is admitting strength. And that is, I mean, especially for Black men, like, we don't want to hear about our weakness because we need to walk through the world with a shield on.
But see, the challenge is, and we brought this into the pandemic, it didn't come about as a result of the pandemic.
Right.
The challenge is the misperception that you're not always vulnerable. You are always vulnerable. You walk out in the street, you don't know what wackadoodle is out there getting ready to blow your brains out. You get in your car, you don't know what semi 18-wheeler can run you off the road. So we're always vulnerable, but the ego, and particularly for men, the ego gives this illusion that we're in control. Well, right now, ain't nobody in control of nothing. We don't know if the corona's coming through the tree leaves, through your eyeballs, through the skin. Now they say it hangs 8 minutes in the air. It's going for your toes. Now it's after the children. We don't know what the heck this thing is. So we're all vulnerable. And so it's not about admitting it. It's about allowing it. It's about accepting it and then being able to stand in the strength of that. But see, that requires faith and that requires trust, something many of us did not bring into the pandemic.